Hi everyone, just want to make a quick review on the AEG 18 volt brushless angle grinder. Now the AEG here, the Ridgid in America, same tool. Just want to make a quick review and tell you am I happy about it. Now really well balanced unit. I use it with a 9 amp battery. I've got 6 months next to me. Really well balanced. When you put a big heavy battery, it becomes really nice and comfortable. The head is heavier. When you put the battery, it becomes balanced right in the middle. I find the trigger unbelievably good. I reckon this is probably the best trigger on the market, and I have never had problems with it. Now the Volt has a very similar trigger, but here you have to use the lever forward and squeeze and it's gonna start. On the Volt it's the opposite, you have to push it back and squeeze, and I find the DeWalt one annoying because you have to push the opposite direction and then you have to push down and then you have to push in the opposite direction to make it work. When this one, when you grab it, it's naturally, you can slide your finger up and you just hold it and then use it and let it go, goes the other way. So I find that this trigger to be better than the DeWalt trigger. I'm not comparing the tools, I'm just saying as a trigger. Every time I got the DeWalt I was like, man, why I have to push it down and then I have to squeeze kind of upwards. So I find this trigger really handy. Accidentally squeezing the trigger, I probably only done it once because I wanted to show something, and then I did it to run without I really wanted to run. So it's I find it not hard, not at all accidentally to make it run. Obviously, if you keep your grinder in the bag or something, don't use with the battery on, because when it rolls around the things, they can actually make the contact and they can switch it on by accident. I haven't had it happen. Now if you're changing the blade, now pretty easy. You get this lever up and start twisting it. Now as I'm holding the phone with my phone, you have to press this button here, this one, and it's very easy to change. So no tool changing, extremely nice, extremely easy, extremely fast. After you just tighten it and flip this one off, perfect. Now it's got a little finger squeezing adjustment here, that's for the guide. Now you squeeze that and then you can rotate the guide, and it's really handy because you can rotate in different directions. Like I put it like this in my car so I don't smash the blade, and if you want to cut, then you twist it around. Really handy. Now when you go guide with the guide fully like this, if you remove the blade, you can actually remove the guide completely. When you remove the lock, you remove the blade and the grinder disc, and then you can completely remove the guard as well. It comes up with another guard which goes over, and when you say I actually have never used it, and I should, because I was cutting last week a lot of steel and aluminium, and you got little particles that fly around your face, and I reckon this one would have been nicer. And actually I'm gonna bring it tomorrow and use it before, you know, I knew it was somewhere, but I've never used it. Overall, now the grinder has a little light here. Now this light is not for shining. This light is actually when you cut, and sometimes the blade gets caught on what you cut. I was cutting a lot of aluminium. Now aluminium is soft metal, so sometimes it was kind of if you force it a little bit too much, it will stop or kind of reduce the speed of the blade, and this will start blinking red and indicates that. So it's really good to tell you that you're gonna burn the motor if you're doing that thing. So I obviously try not to do it, but sometimes happens, and it's really good indication. You see it, you know, blinking, and it's good. It comes up with a little filter here, which is replaceable on the kit. They come with the second one. If a little bits and pieces try to, you know, fall through here, you can take it off and brush it off and clean it, or replace it with another one, which is really good. I don't know why I kind of didn't really think really need something like that, but probably gets an air through here by rotation to cool the engine instead of through those vents something. I'm not exactly sure, but it does it, and I suppose it does it well. Now, I've never had problems with the grinder. As you can see, the grinder, it's quite dirty. Now, I have used this grinder cutting cement board sheets with water running straight away. So I get a bottle, drill a little hole, fill it up with water, and spray directly into the blade here, and I've cut a lot of it. Now, obviously not with this blade for cement sheets and concrete and piles and whatever. Anyway, I've never had a problems. It has never stopped. Always the water was rotating here, was coming off, whatever, never onto the tool. I never had a problems with it, never ever. And I used a lot with a lot of water, so I can say it's like perfect. You know, I didn't shortcut anything on the tool while I was doing it. I can say this is the best one on the market. I've seen other tools, I've used a few other tools. For me, the best balance, the best trigger, the easier no key adjustment, I find it really good. You can also put a bigger blade. Now this one is like a standard, the original actually this blade is slightly bigger, but you can use the 125, which is just gonna come short of the guard, but it comes short of the guard, so you can still use it, which is perfect. Use a bigger blade onto that, a bigger grinding disc onto this one, which is perfect for slightly deeper cuts if you cut something like flashings or angles and stuff. I also find it pretty handy when I cut. Sometimes you need a position. Sometimes when I cut, I need a position. I kind of put my hand here and I put my thumb on the top of it, and this cannot go much. I just keep it as a guide, as my finger, so I can cut, and it's straight there, it doesn't move. So that's how I kind of use it. If I have to use it, try it. So overall, I'm really happy with this grinder. Now I can say, it's hard to say 10 out of 10, but I cannot fault this grinder in any way. I've never used it with a handle because I don't do that much stuff to grind heavy things, so I actually never had a handle on for anything, even, you know, scraping little things, cutting. No. Now, I had a comment by someone who told me, how's your grinder? And that was recently. He says his one burnt 3 weeks after he bought it. I think it's kind of unlucky. I found this one to be really good. I have another one, just bought a brand new one, which is exactly the same. It just comes with a different kit with few upgrades. I now test the new one. I hope it doesn't have problems, but I've noticed they do have problems with electronics now and then. I had problems with the skill saw, I had problems with the drill, I had problems with the multi-tool. So yes, they do fail on part of electronics now and then on few tools. Overall, will I recommend it? Yes. And that's from me. Thank you very much.